When I started with the region, as part of training, I did the True Colors personality test, and most people know True Colors. Okay, good. Social services. All right. So at the end of it, we had everyone grouped into their colors, and you went and you sat at your table. So all of my colleagues went and sat at the blue table. These are all the people who are empathetic and who value relationships and who like listening, great for social services, right? I went by myself with one other person to the orange table. So orange is the adventurous people, the risk-taking people, people who like to try things. And that's really where most people who know me would expect me to end up. Now, I've worked in social services my whole career. I actually just celebrated 5 years with the region in March. I got a lovely little clock for my desk. And I started as a caseworker in income and employment support, so I worked with Ontario Works. After 2 years, an opportunity came up to move into a new position that had more responsibility, was a bit more exciting, and I thought I was really suited to. I had a supervisor at the time who also believed in me and supported me in doing that, so I went for it, but I was very nervous because as part of the interview, I had to do a presentation, and I'd never done that before. So I will tell you what I did to overcome that fear. Has anyone, probably most people, seen the movie Big Daddy? Yeah? Okay, if you haven't, spoiler alert. The young boy has to testify at court, and he's very nervous. So he wears sunglasses because when he puts sunglasses on, he feels like he's invisible. So I subscribe to that philosophy also. Glasses make you invisible, if you didn't know. So I went to the optometrist, and I got myself some glasses, and I wore them to my interview and did my presentation with my glasses on. And I felt very confident, and I aced it, and I was successful. So I stayed in that position for 2 years, and I never again wore glasses. And I always wondered if my supervisor ever noticed. She didn't. And I actually told this story, the first time I told this story, she was sitting at the table, so she was a little surprised to learn of it then. I took a risk, and it paid off. I was young. I had only been with the organization for 2 years, but fortunately I was successful and got to do a job that I loved. But also with that came some backlash. I was young. I had only been with the organization for 2 years. That's like nothing in municipality terms, as we know. So some people actually thought and said out loud, "Who does she think she is?" And they didn't see me as someone who was nervous and who wore prop glasses to an interview. They thought I was without fear. I was one of those people who did those kinds of things. Now, 2 years later, after that, I've moved into this role, which is the policy advisor role, which is my dream job, and I'm so happy to be able to do this. But this is another step up, and it's management. So there's even more change along with that. So along with the fear of failing is the fear of doing too well. Fortunately for me, what I appreciate in this job is a lot of my coworkers are very open to giving feedback. There was 1 week in particular, all that feedback was about me. They gave it to me, they're so kind. They told me essentially what it came down to was I was too assertive, too aggressive, and I rubbed people the wrong way. I wasn't even yelling at them at this point, so, right? So I'm not about to change who I am, but I'm starting to think, maybe I should consider these things. Maybe I should act a little differently when I'm around my coworkers, keep this into consideration. So I got that feedback the next day, the very next day after I got that feedback. I teach martial arts, so I was at the gym and I was teaching a class, and one of the parents strolled onto the mats and started coaching my kids. So a better analogy might be if you're like a hockey parent, imagine you're at a hockey game and a parent skates out onto the ice and starts telling the kids what to do. It's crazy, right? So a little taken back, I told another coach that this had happened, and he says to me, "Well, that doesn't really surprise me. You're kind of a pushover." So, yes. In 24 hours, I was told I was aggressive, assertive, I rub people the wrong way, and I'm a pushover. So at this point, I said, forget it. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to do good work. I'm worrying about this, I'm worrying about that, I'm worrying about what people think about me. But at the end of the day, none of that matters because I'm not just one thing. I am too aggressive. I am too assertive. I am an orange personality. I also have fears. I also wear fake glasses to interviews. So I'm more than one thing, just like all of you are more than one thing, just like all of your staff are more than one thing. We need to support our staff in being able to bring their whole selves to work. So this is a passage, you've probably heard it before. It's Marianne Williamson, and this really speaks to me. And it's edited, but it says, "We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine, as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same." And I think that sums up everything, that we need to find that creativity, that shine within all of us, let it shine, and help all of our coworkers and everyone to do the same. And that's my story.